All right, good morning, everyone. So we've got about 30 minutes to the bell. No trades for me so far, just sitting tight. Gap scanner this morning. We've got a couple bigger gappers. HYMC right now is up 94%, 96%. But as you can see, it's below its high. Its high is about 297. And you look at this and you're like, wait a second, I'm familiar with this stock. What did it do last week? Last week it went from 60 cents all the way up to 265, and then it pulled back to $1.39. Now today it's popping back up a little bit, which is good to see, but the float is a little higher on it, and I'm just not sure that we're going to see. I don't know. It's just hard to tell. The thing that this has going for it is that that sort of surprise move. It does end up being a very strong daily chart above 265 because it's all of a sudden gapping and is above this level. So then if we look back on the daily chart, we've got this high here. We look back and over, where are next resistance levels? And you can see that there's not any big gaps. There's not any big windows. It's just kind of been grinding lower. Now I'd say they're starting to get gaps and windows up here around 450 up to 5, and then up to 648. But those are also formed by red candles, so those are windows. And I did go and check the float. I double checked it because I thought what I saw initially was that the float was pretty low, and I thought, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. But in fact, the float is a bit higher, so I have to double check that figure. The float here is 60 million shares according to their most recent filing, so it is a higher float, and it's always good to double check it. Now when you look at a stock and it's trading like this looks like a higher float than a million shares to me, and so if one market data provider is saying it's a million shares, it's good to double check it, because one of the things you'll find with market data vendors is that there are some inconsistencies. So anyways, that's HYMC. That's our second leading gapper. Our leading gapper is actually IXHL. This one's up 100% right now, a solid 100%. And what's interesting about it is you've got this pre-market chart where you can see how it made this big move. It's got risk, and the risk is that the volume is light, the spreads are pretty large. So I don't know that we're going to be able to manage risk on it, but it is a recent IPO. You do have this gap this morning, as you can see. So, just something to be aware of. It is technically our leading gapper of 100%. Next one down, we have GFAI. So I'll leave that on a side chart. HYMC on a side chart. GFAI. This one, the high here is $1.17. It's a little cheap. It's a little too cheap. Next one down, EXN, 33 million share float. A little cheap as well. Hey Trey, good morning. Next gapper, MYNA. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's really gapping up all that much. Now we're into like 10% gappers. VRPX gapping up a little bit. These are all light gappers. So right now it's just kind of sitting tight, being patient, waiting for something to open up, and then jumping on when we see it. HYMC did give a little break of 376 back here, and it squeezed up to a high of 289 and then kind of pulled back. So dipped down to a low there of 263. So, it's just showing that it's having a hard time really opening up in a big way. So I'm not really sure. IXHL, I see it. I'm going to try to take a starter on it. So this is risky, but I'm just going to go for it. And I'll add over 55. So putting my order at 55. You know, this is the type of stock that when it starts to move, we could get a move up to 60. So I got a partial fill. The volume is light, but you know, my opinion on it is if it wants to rip, let's give it a chance. So watching for an ad at 56.40 right there added. Now looking for 61. Look at how fast. I mean, and this is the type that you got to be careful of. I took a little profit. Now I'm going to add back 200 shares at 65. Watching 65, and then target would be retest to the pre-market high. Added at 64.40, 100 shares. So back of mind on this would be $75, $85, the pre-market highs, right? You've got a bid at 59, 59.50. It takes a little bit of guts to step into something like this. I'm watching to add over 65 for the move up to 70. Holding 1,000 shares and looking to add over 65. So a little bit of volume. That's all it needs to get back to $85. So new orders at 65. Holding 700 shares right now. High of this candle is 63. New order goes at 64. So my entry is 51.25. I bought in the middle of that green candle as it was spiking higher. This is one where I'm going to try to sell on the ask to get the best exit. Looking to add over the high, 63. So added right there, 62.89, 300 shares. Brings my average up to 54.43. And I want to see if this breaks through 65. If it does, then we're looking for 75. This is our leading gapper right now. It's up 162%, recent IPO. So high this candle right there, 62.99. Watch the break of 63, then 64, 65. Nothing wrong with watching from the sidelines on a high risk stock like this. But target is 85. That's the back of mind target. And if we can break 85, then maybe we get to move up to 100. It's going to need to open up quite a bit more, obviously, to get there. But if it does, then it'll probably become easier to trade as volume increases. HYMC still on watch. Waiting for the break of 63. You've got a little bit of a bid at 59. If 63.12 breaks, then we should see 65.83, and if 65.83 breaks, we should see 71. So that helps me position around 63. Now, I wouldn't have found this stock if it weren't for the gap scanner, if it weren't for the fact that it was already gapping up over 100%. One of the things I like about recent IPOs is that they're typically hard to borrow. So hard to borrow, insiders not able to sell shares, that can create the imbalance to the buy side. So I have an order at 65.83. Ready to add. Let's see if we get that move back up to 75 or 80. I'd like to see some green on the tape and see it surge through that level. HYMC, still on watch. Red candle there. About 800,000 shares of volume. We've got about 20 minutes to the opening bell. So I'm looking for 62 and 63, and then 65. Has anyone seen if there's shares available to borrow? Because I can't find any. Hard to borrow, no shares. 2,000 share bid there at 59. It'd be nice if we did get some sympathy momentum. So I'm holding 117 shares. We'll wait for the break over 63 to add back. New orders at 65. If I give it a little bit of an offset, then I can get in with a little bit of slippage. So we'll keep that one on watch. New orders at 64, 65. I'll put it for 500 shares. I look for stocks with the potential to be parabolic. A recent IPO up 100% at a critical pivot like the psychological resistance. It's, worth it. I'll still hold small size on it through this consolidation and look for a break over 62, 63 for the next trade up to 85. What am I thinking of? ISPO. ISPO in one day went from 14 to 108, right? So this is sort of a similar pattern, recent IPO. And if you recall on this one, it squeezed right at about $9.25 from $12 to $29. It opened and then opened at 14 and then it squeezed up, started halting, gapping higher, halted down, first halt down, jumped lower, and then it kept going. So initially ISPO was very light volume, very, very similar. It was, the percentage gap was high, it was gapping up a lot, but the volume was light. So that's the pattern, recent IPO starting to open up. Maybe this goes higher, maybe it doesn't, but if it weren't a recent IPO, I wouldn't have taken the risk, but because it's somewhat similar to ISPO, I took the stab on the first trade. So, but of course with small size, managing risk appropriately. Because, as you know, trading is risky. Most beginner traders lose money, and even seasoned traders like myself can take big losses. My biggest red day is $275,000. So I've taken some pretty big losses in my career. And, I have a willingness to take risk. So I encourage traders to trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. Sometimes it is better to wait for these to be obvious. And obvious could be buying higher. But, you know, if you buy higher and then you get that continuation, you can do well. So we'll keep this one on watch. Over 63. HYMC right now, not sure. I think it was 475. 475, I think, was the best day. And probably wouldn't surprise you that the best day and the worst day were about a week apart. Market was very volatile, and, you know, I was stepping up to the plate big time. I had the big green day, and then the red day followed like a week later. So let's see, overview. So the biggest red day was here, 478. Biggest green day, biggest red day was here, 268. Biggest red day, biggest green day. So we've got about 12 minutes to the open. Nice, Kevin. Made 200 bucks on 20 shares. Good for you. My average is 54.43. I'm still holding 117 shares. High this last candle was 60. Reminder for those tuning in, make sure you hit the thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed to the channel. So once we cross over 1 million subscribers, I'm going to do another small count challenge. So those on YouTube, appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up. So IXHL is up 153%. It's our leading gapper. My average is 54.43. HYMC is our second leading gapper, up 89%, but it has pulled back a little bit down towards the 20 moving average. So it looks like IXHL is curling up here again. I added there at 60.89, and we'll add over 63. Orders at 63.20. This is a 5-minute bull flag breaking out. Add it at 63.12. We'll add again at 66. Adding at 66 there. Now looking for the squeeze up to 67 and 75. Watching over 69 to add. Add it at 68. There's 70. There's 73. Now into the extension. Let's see. I'm going to put a new order at 73. Let's see, the high this candle is 71. Watch over 71 for a retest of 75. Adding at 70, 100 shares, trading in smaller blocks and looking for the squeeze through 73, 74. Back of mind target is still a test of $85. There's 73. Watch over 73 for the next add, and then 75. Looking to add smaller size at 73 and 74. We're up 212%. This is our leading gapper. So we're getting closer to our $85 pre-market high target. Added at 72. There's some green on the tape. Looking for a move up to 75 and then 85. Nice extension. Let's see if we can get the break through $75. There's 72.97. Spreads are getting a little bit tighter, which is good. This is very similar to ISPO. When ISPO started, the volume was light. Holding 400 shares. Watching on a dip. Our high, 72, 75. New orders at 73. Five minutes to the opening bell. Watching for dip entries. Our high is 72, 75, so I have an order at 73. Then looking for 76 and then 88. Added at 71.80 and 72.38 for the break of 73. Then looking for $76 and 88. Level 2 is showing $88 right above 76. So I think if we break 76, we might see 88. So this is our pullback. We had first pullback, higher volume on the second. I'll expect higher volume on the third. The apex is 72.85. And then we're looking for a move up to 75, 76, 77, and 80. We're up 270%, 207%. So this is our leading gapper in the entire market. Let's watch 72.75 break. HYMC, a little slow right now. Watch for the ad here. Bid pops up. 70, 71, 82. So now we're looking for the break through 75, 72.75, and then $75. 2 minutes to the bell. Holding 126 shares. New order, add back 73. Took some profit at 70. I still want to see the break of 72.75. HYMC needs to break over 89. Order on HYMC would be right around $3. So we'll just keep trading breakouts on this. Floats 48 million shares. But target's 85, that's the pre-market high. Or after hours high. So expect volatility at the open. Manage your risk accordingly. Reminder as always that trading is risky. Added right there for the breakthrough 75. Now looking for a halt up at $80. We're looking for the break through $75 and then a halt up. Halt up is $80.08. Watching $74 and $75. Flat for now. Watch for the next dip. High of this candle was 74.78. New order at 75. Just trading with 250 share blocks on it. Halt level 79.27. HYMC is pulling back a little bit. Added there. Into the halt up. holding at 77.81. We'll watch dip and rip on resumption. New order will be at 85. So this is the tough thing with halts, is that you can't trade obviously during the halt, so you're just stuck. It's showing a $100 resumption right now, which, you know, I mean, that would be awesome, but it's not going to give me a chance to add at 85. CTRN, nice squeeze at the open, up to a high of 36.23. This one has bigger spreads. High is 26.23. S&P 500 moving up. HYMC pulled back too much. So we ended up getting pretty close to that target. You know, I'm only holding 100 shares, small size. Just didn't get good fills on my orders. So the halt was at 31.23. About a minute to resumption. So if you end up getting a really high resumption, which, you know, it looks like we might, then I would look for a dip and a rip as always, but with smaller share size. If I didn't already have a cushion, I wouldn't take the risk, but I have a cushion, so I could take a little bit of risk with a dip and rip over 100. Have to be a little bit careful of a possible halt down after a big gap up. Right now it's showing $100 as resumption, which, you know, gives me some pretty big FOMO that I'm only holding 100 shares, but I just kept getting partial fills. I tried to add as it broke through 75, and I just only got partial fills. So potentially 20 seconds to resumption if it's a 5-minute long halt, but it has a good chance of being a 10-minute long halt because it's showing such a big gap. This is a good example of one where if I had just said, no, I'm going to wait for more volume to come in, or I'm going to wait for a better setup, I just would have missed the whole thing. So right now is a 5-minute long halt. My order's at 101. So it looks like a 10-minute long halt. I see BTTX. Showing 99.48, 98.48, 99. You know, there's nothing, yeah, I agree. There's nothing really else this morning. It's just our leading gapper. But, you know, leading gapper, 17% IXHL. 48 million share float, but it had the rate of change. And it showed us that yesterday on its chart. Just sitting tight right now. Resumption showing 97.28 right now. AGRI, let's take a look. Needs to get back over 5. It's pulled back a little too much. About a minute to resumption if it's a 10-minute long halt. But as I said, big gaps can sometimes halt longer. All right, so got my order at 100 bucks. Looking to see if we dip and then rip through 100. Trying to add some profit. while managing risk when it's extended is a challenge in a hot market. You know, sometimes we get multiple halts in a row. In a cold market, sometimes we halt right back down. And so let's see what it wants to do. We're still halted right now. INDO, let me take a look. Yep, off the 20 moving average. Yeah, it's disappointing on HYMC. Was not able to hold up. Yeah, LTRPB is another one that's had a history of making some big moves, some huge candles. This is a day where it went to 134. INDO got in the 80s. ISPO went up to, what was it, 108? Yeah, 108 before it pulled back. So, you know, that $100 level is pretty important. It's just tough when they gap. So if this gaps from 78 to 90, it's a 20-point gap. It's easier to trade when there's more price action and less of these huge gaps, but what can you do? You know, these ones are risky, that's for sure. Biggest gap I've ever seen on a halt. Well, those would be gap downs. We've seen 50%, 70% gap down on a halt. We've seen some really nasty gaps on a halt down. And it's typically on something like ISPO. It could happen on IXHL for sure. This is a risk with these. They squeeze up, they gap higher, and then when they reverse, the bottom falls out. And you don't have buyers there that are willing to buy that really hard drop. I mean, you do have some dip traders, but look at this gap down here. You know, it halted down at 51 and opened at 34. Now that presented a dip, it did, but you know, the risk was still there. But then a halt down and opening flat, that's always bullish. Yeah, DWAC had a pretty bad halt resumption. Gap up at 110, up to 175, and then gap back down. So I've got my order block for 250 shares. Just trading a little smaller up here. Orders ready at $100. So the decision of adding and selling is based always in that moment, watching the level 2 in the tape. Since I'm only holding 105 shares, you know, 20 points is $2,000. So, you know, that would add some profit for sure, but it's not super significant. So I'm hoping to get another really good trade on it. I'm hoping that we start to get into a zone where I can get aggressive. Watching. Let's see if this false halts. I'm holding 100 shares. Watching for a false halt. So I'm going to try to buy the dip as long as it holds this high back here of 78. I think that looks pretty good. My average is 77.81. So, you know, if that had false halted, I would have been a buyer, but that's profit taking, and that is to be expected. So the halt was down at 81. So if we resume anything above 81, I'm a buyer. And then we would look for a breakthrough 90. Now, if we look at the ISPO chart, this one opened up a lot more before that red halt down. So I don't know where this one's going to base out. But right now it's showing 79.48. So I'm going to put an order at 82 just to kind of get it ready. But you know, this is the unfortunate thing with these halts, is that you miss the entire opportunity to trade it up to 90 and then the pullback. You know, the trade got broken up by these halts. So you got your $85 target. HYMC, nice Rob, nice dip. So I almost punched the order there on the halt down, thinking it was going to do a false halt, and then I just hesitated for a second. I was waiting for a little bit more green on the tape, and then we didn't see it. And that was probably the right move because I'd be in now at 81 at the halt down. It's showing an $80 resumption, which is not bad. I mean, we still have a few minutes to resumption, but about 2 minutes. But at the same time, it's always risky because when you have something that's extended, it can gap lower the way it did here in this case. KAVL, I see that one moving higher. Your 200 moving average is at $4. Okay, so watching resumption here. Let's see. So I'm going to watch here for an ad at 83. 82, 83. So added right there at $80. Halt up. Now watching for add over 85. Watching over 73. Watch false halt down here. Added at 72.90 for the false halt. Now watching the pop back up over 80. This is a pullback down towards support. Watching for the pop back up. Trying to buy support on this. Average is 77.93. So waiting for that 10-second chart to curl. The high of this candle is 75.20. So watch over $75.20. I'm not selling on support. This is a support exit. I wouldn't do that. I'm going to hold for the curl back up. So again, looking for that first 10-second candle to make a new high over 75.20. High of this candle back here. Let's see. Is 90. My average is 77. KAVL, I'll keep it on watch. So the halt down was 70.85. I want to see it resume above that level. Holding 500 shares. I'll put an order to add 500 shares. Put my order at 72. So we're showing a flat resumption right now. What's up on VIX? Yeah, can watch VIX. Let's see if it breaks through. There's 70. VIX up to the halt level. Small trade. New order 37. Watching resumption on IXHL. Stop on VIX. IXHL showing a flat resumption. I'm surprised UVXY isn't following the VIX. Putting my order at 70 on IXHL, 500 shares. Let's see where IXHL wants to bounce. VWAP is around 67.94. VIX will watch resumption. S&P going up. Watching IXHL for a washout long for a bounce. The high was 90. It's got a lot of range. VIX watching resumption. Halt was 56.50. So new order on VIX is going to be 37.50. We'll start focusing on this a little bit more. Two minutes to resumption on IXHL. So it actually looks like yeah, okay. So about 30 seconds to resumption on VIX. So let's watch VIX resumption. $36.90 was the high. Putting an order at $37.50. Looks like it's pulling back. We'll let it pull back. New order goes at 37. Watch possible break over 37. That went too fast. So now watching the high 37.75 added right there for 38. Now look for 38.50. Watch for the add and then 38.50. I managed to be red on this. It's kind of ridiculous. I got a terrible fill on my entry. Ridiculous. Watching VIX again. I'm gonna change my hotkey so I can trade this one. Halt levels 39.80 on VIX. 39.80 going into another halt there. New orders at 39.40. Halted again. So now you're getting a bit of a short squeeze on the VIX. So watching IXHL for a bounce. Yeah, I lost 1900. I got a bad fill, and then when it popped up, I got out for a small loss. So whatever, it's fine. I'll reposition and try to get back in. I got in at 38.25. I filled like way high on this wick, and then it dropped back down to 37.45, and I was like, oh my god, come on. So then I got out when it started to come back up to 38. I knew I was in high, so I had to manage my risk on it. I bought 10,000 shares and I was down, I don't know, $6,000. So manage the risk. Watching in about 2 minutes for possible resumption on IXHL. Nice, Thomas. Good job. Good work. All right, so we should have 1 minute to resumption on IXHL. Showing a $59 resumption. Let's see if we pop into a halt up after 2 halts down. So 2 halts down, let's see if we halt up. So putting an order at 60. So let's see if we bounce off this 53 level. It's a weak resumption. 53.10 on the ask. Another halt down. So that's unfortunate. My average is 77.93. I'm down 12,000 on my position right now. So we'll end up giving back some profit on this one. We'll watch VIX on resumption. You know, I put my money where my mouth is. I thought it was going to go higher. So look at VIX now halting, almost halting down. Quick bounce, long. Watch for an ad over 40. That was a good trade. So our high right there was 40.84. My average is 38. Added right there up to the halt level. Now looking for 41. Watch over 40.85. So some nice trades on VIX. High of this candle's 41.25, watching the halt level to move up. Watch now 41.80. Added at 62, looking for 75 and then 80. Took the loss on that one. 75. We'll look to add back on another dip. Our high is 41.63. So high was 41.65. That's the level to watch. So our high was 41.65. Watching VIX. So still watching IXHL for a bounce and a halt up. VIX I'm watching as well. VIX seems like it's topping out up here though. The high, that candle's 41.65. So unless that level breaks, I think that's the top. VIX needs to break over $41. Watching around 41. VIX kind of looks like it might be curling, but I'm not sure. Added there, looking for 75 and 85. Got a couple big bids popping up. Next add is going to be 41. Added there, now looking for 41.25 on VIX and 41.50 as we start to open up. Watch, no, gotta cut it. Back to up only 1800 on that one. IXHL, halt levels coming back up. Watching VIX for another possible bounce off the halt down. Big spreads on VIX, big whips. So that was a rejection there at 41. So now your 5-minute is a big red candle. I only made 2,000 bucks on VIX in total, even though I had an awesome dip trade right down there at 38. It was small size, so I didn't make enough on it. IXHL, watching resumption. So I was up 8,000 on VIX, but gave back 6 of it. 7. I think I was up 10,000 for a second. Halt down is 38.19. So still looking for that washout long in the first bounce, the first halt up. VIX at the halt down. I don't want to do a false halt attempt on this one because I think it's pulled back a little too much. Let's see. VIX not halted yet. Is it going to bounce? There it goes. Big range on VIX. But made a little money on it, so that's good. All's well that ends well. So we'll see if IXHL bounces. Looking for a bounce on resumption. We'll see if we get a halt up. You know, this is the risk of trading these light volume stocks. Uh, 41. S&P high is 421, 33. I don't see anything else moving. VIX. Back at the VWAP. HYMC. Yeah. What a move on VIX. Pretty wild. Another halt down is 33.60 right there. Watch for bounce, false halt, back up to 34. 200 moving average is right here. I added at 62 for false halt and a move back up to 34. Looking for that pop back to 34. $200 moving average is right here. 36 up here is our VWAP. So I'm looking for a pop back to VWAP, putting an order at 35 for profit. Well, we did have one really nice false halt on VIX. So we'll see. It halted for real, but we'll see if we get a curl back up to the VWAP. My average is 33.62, looking for a bounce back up to VWAP, which is at 36.18. Support is at the 200 moving average, which is 33.14. So 50 cents of risk versus $1.50 of profit potential. 500. So watching resumption on IXHL. Disappointing. Halt up is 45.10. It's spread almost between the halt up and the halt down. So up only 3,800 on it. Halt up is 42.67. So resumption on VIX, watching in about a minute and 30 seconds. So I'm looking for a pop on this, support around 33, add around 33, and then curl back up to 36.18. Halt up on IXHL is still at 42.67, 42.43. IXHL halt up is 43.86. So it is approaching the halt up, but whatever. Watching VIX. So on VIX, I can't see the resumption price. Does anyone see a resumption price? Watching 33 support. Interesting. So watching resumption in about 2 minutes on VIX. Still looking at the volume weighted average price. So 3306 is possible support. That's also around the 200 moving average, 3314. About 1 minute to resumption. IXHL halt up is 45. The problem with the chart is it's too far below VWAP. Just letting it be. I tried that dip around 80 or 77 for the curl back up, the false halt, and then it just dropped. But I got one really, I mean, it did pop, but I didn't take the profit. I was looking for the move up to 90. Or maybe I took some, I don't remember. But VIX watching this for a pop back up to 34.50, 35. So watching VIX. Watching support. Unbelievable. Lost $29,000 on VIX. That sucks, man. That really sucks. What a disaster. Went from up 30,000 on the day to down 25. Boy, that sucks. Well, that's the life of a trader. It's ups and it's downs. That's just the way it goes, man. You win some, you lose some. Unreal. Unreal. Man. Quick. Well, what can you do? You know, that's life. There's nothing you can do. That's part of trading. You don't get winners if you can't handle the losers. So I'm going to call today a red day, and we'll make it a successful red day by not taking any more trades at this point and just let it be a 25K red day. It's probably the biggest, almost biggest red day of the year. But it's better to let it be a red day than to dig the hole deeper. What a turnaround. Big swing today. From up 25, 30,000 to down 25,000. Well, it's a reminder as always that trading is risky. It really is. It's not easy, even after years and years of experience. It's not easy. It's hard, and it's very, very frustrating. And that for me was a very frustrating swing that I just took. But, you know, I can't feel too sorry for myself. I've got over 10 million in gross profit trading momentum. And in that, there's been a lot of big red days, and today's not the biggest red day. So it's a small red day, and small red days are part of being a successful trader, keeping it small, keeping it tight, and then coming back to live another day. So that's what I'll do. I'll shut it down there, down 25,000. And I'll try again tomorrow. See if tomorrow's a little bit better.